Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your April 2024 horoscope. I hope you're excited for April because there's definitely a lot going on. We have solar eclipse, we have Mars conjuncting Saturn, and we also have the big Jupiter conjunct Uranus. Let's get into what you can expect day by day. On April 3rd, Venus conjuncts Neptune in your 4th house. This is a really beautiful aspect that represents love in the transcendental type of way, love that goes beyond conditions, and love that's really about connecting with all of the nature of humanity. And for you especially, this could allow you to connect quite deeply to your family as well, or to your ancestors and the places where you come from. On April 5th, Venus enters Aries, or your 5th house, and it sextiles Pluto in your 3rd house. So I did a live a couple of months ago about Pluto and what it means in each of the 12 houses. So if you want to get a little bit more into Pluto in your 3rd house, then go ahead and check out the video right here. But just for the context of this April horoscope, Pluto in your 3rd house is teaching you about the meaning that we can bring into our life if we give ourselves the time and the space to explore different opinions, to explore different cultures, to explore different ideas from those around us, instead of trying to narrow down life into one very clear picture or path for ourselves. And this day is quite interesting because the conversation that Pluto is having with Venus in your 5th house is almost highlighting the things that happened when you were a child that perhaps this encouraged you from being open-minded and from listening and absorbing everything around you. One thing that could help is doing activities that you used to love to do as a child, because they might really expand your thoughts, your ideas, your mind, and open you up already to start to listen to others and how they are living their life. On April 8th, there's a solar eclipse in Aries in your 5th house. A solar eclipse is a new moon, which means both the sun and the moon are conjunct, and they are conjunct in the decan ruled by the sun. To me, this means that we're most likely going to act out of ego during this eclipse. So just keep in mind, if you're making any permanent decisions, that maybe they're not coming from the true parts of yourself, but maybe from the parts of yourselves that feel hurt and that want to protect themselves. Also, during the solar eclipse, we have a Mercury retrograde. So anything we say might be misinterpreted by others. On April 10th, Mars conjuncts Saturn in your 4th house. This might feel like a day when all of the wonderful things you're planning with your family are just like not happening. Things are just going wrong left, right, and center. You know, you planned a fun day at the zoo, turns out the zoo is closed. So keep in mind that it doesn't mean that you need to stop trying to make these beautiful connections with your family or to take care of your home. It's just that Saturn asks you to reconsider how you do it. So you can still get to the final destination, but Saturn says, can we do it in perhaps a more mature way? On April 17th, Venus conjuncts the North Node in your 5th house. Venus is conjuncting the North Node at almost the exact same place that the solar eclipse was at earlier in the month. So I really see this day as a nice moment to reflect on things that perhaps we learned during the solar eclipse. Now we should have the time and the space away from the solar eclipse. Hopefully we're no longer so emotionally charged around it. and we can take the time to look back at it objectively and try to understand, what the universe is trying to teach us. On April 20th, Jupiter is conjunct Uranus in your 6th house. On this day, the Sun has also entered Taurus, or your 6th house, and Mars is sextiling the conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus. Jupiter and Uranus are conjunct once every 14 years, so this is kind of a big deal. For you, this is happening in your 6th house, and Jupiter has been in your 6th house for about a year now, and Uranus for much, much longer. They have each been teaching you something. Jupiter has been perhaps making it quite easy flowing in regards to your health, in regards to establishing a routine. Perhaps the last year you've been able to, without a problem, get up at 6 a.m. every day, work out 5 days a week, keep consistent with your diet. But at the same time, Uranus has also been teaching you something. Uranus has been teaching you the highest highs and the lowest lows when it comes to your routine and your health. And during this conjunction, it's almost as if you want to consider and reflect on what all of these extremes have taught you. When things are easy flowing, when things are hard, when things are very easy, what is it that you want to take going forwards in regards to your routine? What doesn't fit there anymore? How do you want to continue to take care of your health? And which things do you want to stop doing? A day later, on the 21st, the Sun, because it has moved a little bit more into the sign of Taurus, it now squares Pluto in your 3rd house. This is a difficult aspect because it's a square. So there is some tension between your routine and the way you are structuring your day-to-day life, and this feeling that you have that you need to open up, that you need to be more open-minded, and that you need to allow yourself to consider all types of different lifestyles and ways of being. And if you have quite a structured routine, that can make it quite difficult because you have a very set way of existing and living in day to day. On April 24th, there's a full moon in Scorpio in your 12th house. The Sun is in Taurus in your 6th house. As you have been reflecting a lot on your day-to-day routine, you're probably also coming to the realization that a huge part should also be focused on taking care of our mental health and not just our physical health. So during this full moon, there might be a sort of epiphany or realization that perhaps something needs to adjust there, and perhaps you also need to give yourself more time and space to focus on your mental health as well. On April 28th, Mars conjuncts Neptune in your 4th house. This is a beautiful day to plan something in your calendar where you can show your family your unconditional love. Mars is the planet of action, and Neptune is the planet of transcendental spiritual type of love. And finally, we close off the month on the 30th of April with both Venus and Mars going back to the place where they feel home. Venus enters the sign of Taurus, and Mars, on the other hand, enters the sign of Aries. This should feel like a nice breath of fresh air at the end of a crazy month, and it might feel like it's much more easy to express your emotions, both the difficult ones and the more easy ones. So overall, Sagittarius, it's a wonderful time to spend time with your family, show them you love them, to also allow yourself the time and the space to take care of your inner child while also looking after your routines. So it sounds like you have a lot to do, a lot to keep you busy during this month. Thank you so much for joining me, Sagittarius. And let me know down below, what's a fun activity that you want to do with your family this month? Maybe the zoo, or go-karting could be super fun. Or if it's warm where you are now, like a picnic or something, it could also be really fun. Again, thanks for joining me. And if you want to make sure you catch the May horoscope, then press the subscribe button. then you'll be sure that when it comes out, you see it. I hope you enjoy April, and I hope to see you again soon.